Good day, class. So, in this video, we are now in topic 6, which is using files for data storage. So, using files for data storage. So, the key point is, when a program needs to save data for later use, it writes the data in a file. The data can then be read from the file at a later time. So, kasi minsan, merong mga cases na kailangan natin mag-store ng data using our program, pero kasi kapag it is just pure program lang, nag-store ka ng data doon, nag-type ka ng data, if you close the program, automatically, lahat ng data na in-store mo is mawawala rin. So, kapag niran mo uli yung iyong program, so wala na yung data na tinype mo before. No, if you want to store data for a long time, no, you can use a file to store it. No, just like using text editor such as Notepad, no, na pwede mo ring i-retrieve later on kapag kailangan mo pa rin yung data. No, so we can use a file instead of a computer screen for program output. No, kasi kapag nag-base ka lang on computer screen, and then you close the program, automatically lahat ng data na in-input mo doon is mawawala rin. Okay, files are stored in secondary storage media such as this. So, ito yung kagandahan ng using files. Na nakastore siya on secondary storage media, which is ginagamit natin for long-term storage, no? Instead of placing our data on a primary storage, which is nawawala din siya agad. Now, so files allow data to be retained between program executions, and we can later use the file instead of a keyboard for program input. So ways to create programs that write data to files and read data from files. So when a file is used by a program, 3 steps must be taken. No? So kapag maglalagay ka ng file, or kakailanganin mo ng file, no, to read and write data, so ito yung mga steps na dapat natin gawin. So first is to open the file. Opening a file creates a connection between your file and your program. Now, opening an output file usually creates the file on a disk and allows the program to write data to it. So if there is no existing file, and kapag nag-open ka ng file, automatically, mag-create ng bagong file wherein dun mo may store lahat ng data na kailangan mo or lahat ng data na i-input natin. Now, opening an input file allows the program to read data from the file. Then the next step is process the file. So data is either written to the file, if it is an output file, or read from the file. There are 2 steps or 2 process na pwede mong gawin sa file. It's either mag-read ka ng file or from the file, from the text file na meron ka, i-display natin to your program, or write the file, which means from your program, magta-type ka ng data using your keyboard and it will be stored on your text file na pwede mo siyang gamitin for later use. And the last one is to close the file. So after the program is finished using the file must be closed. So kung inopen natin yung file, of course, at the end of the program, we must close the file. So closing a file means we disconnect the file from the program. So these are the 3 steps. First, open the file. Second, process the file. And last is to close the file. Yan. So we have 2 file types. Now we have text file and binary file. So what is their difference? Text file contains information encoded as text such as letters, digits, and punctuation, or any data that is readable and can be understood by human. No? So ito yung mga characters na naiintindihan natin, such as letters, digits, and punctuations. No? It can be viewed with a text editor such as Notepad. So usually, ito yung ginagamit natin for files, no? Na pwede nating i-connect sa C++ kasi kapag nag-input tayo ng data, pwede nating i-store using text file. And it can be viewed using Notepad app. Okay? So, sa binary file naman, it contains binary digits such as ones and zeros, no? The digits that only the machine can understand. So, hindi natin maintindihan itong ones and zeros na to, and it can't be viewed with the text editor. No, unlike the text file, readable siya for us human, and it can be viewed with the text editor. Yan. So, file access method. So, meron tayong dalawang uri ng pag-access ng data natin. The first is the sequential access. So, sa sequential access kasi, nire-read niya yung first piece of data, second piece of data, hanggang makarating ka doon sa data na kailangan mo lang. No? For example, ang kailangan mo lang may access na data ay yung pang 5 data lang. Halimbawa, you have to access data of names. And yung kailangan mo lang ma-retrieve ay yung pang 5 lang. But in sequential access, now you have to read first the first data, second data, third data, fourth data before you reach the fifth data. And tsaka lang siya mag-stop. No? Kung ang kailangan mo ay pang 5 data lang, kahit hindi mo kailangan yung first, second, third, and fourth, kailangan mo siyang i-read, no? In order na makaabot ka doon sa fifth data. So, on the second method, no, in accessing our files, now we have random access or direct access. Now, it retrieves any piece of data directly na hindi mo na kailangang i-retrieve pa yung mga naunang file bago yung file na kailangan mo or yung data na kailangan mo. So, for example, again, ang kailangan mo lang na data ay yung pang 5. So, in random access, hindi mo na kailangan tawagin yung unang data, pangalawang data, pangatlo, pang-apat para ma-retrieve mo yung pang 5. So, directly, pang 5 lang yung kailangan mo, so yun lang yung mag-display. So, yun yung random access. Ayan. So, needed to use files. So, meron tayong mga file stream data type, which is the OffStream, IfStream, and FStream. So, OffStream, or output file stream. So you can create an object of this data type when you want to create a file and write data to it. Yan. So kapag kailangan natin mag-create ng object na kung saan mag-create ka ng file and lalagyan mo ng data yung file na yon, so we have to use output file stream. So usually ginagamit natin to kapag kailangan natin mag-input ng data. For example, ang ginawa mong program ngayon ay registration ng names. So you have to input a lot of names. And you want to store it to a file para on the next time you open the program, hindi na mawawala yung file mo. Instead, i-retrieve na lang natin. So, paano tayo makakapag-write ng data? Paano tayo makakapaglagay ng data dun sa file na yun? No? So, gagamitin natin tong output file stream. So, the next is the input file stream or FStream. So you can create an object of this data type when you want to open an existing file and read data from it. So, pansinin niyo yung difference ng OffStream and IfStream. So, sa input file stream, ito naman yung magre-read ka ng data coming from an existing file. So, gamitin natin yung case kanina. Tapos ka nang mag-encode ng mga pangalan and i-store mo na sa file. Then, the next day, you want to retrieve the data, you want to display again the data, and then meron kang existing file, yung pinaglagyan mo ng mga names kahapon, and you want to display it again. So, when you want to open an existing file and read data from it para mag-display siya doon sa program mo, now you have to use input file stream. So, sa OffStream, ginagamit natin to write data, no, for later use. And sa input file stream naman, ginagamit natin to para mag-open tayo ng existing file na meron ng mga data sa loob, then gusto na lang nating i-display or i-retrieve yung mga data na yun. So, and last, we have file stream. File stream, the object of this data type can be used to open files for reading, writing, or both. So, ito yung mga kakailangan din natin for files. So, this is the process. No? Ano yung mga kailangan nating steps na sundin, no, para magamit natin yung files. So, first, no, include the FStream header file. Then, followed by define file stream object, ifstream for input from a file, and OffStream for output to a file, and FStream for input from output to or both. So let's try this one. Again. So for example, let's create a file wherein we can store our data. So let's open Notepad. Ayan. So we have Notepad here. And we can enter names. For example, Peter, James, and John. Then save this. Lagyan natin ay, halimbawa, friends.text. So, this is a form of storage na rin, no, na gagamitin natin later on. Yan. So, we have friends.text na merong pangalan sa loob. We have Peter, James, and John. Now, our goal is to ma-retrieve natin yung data na ma-display natin sa ating program using these steps. So, sabi, yan. So, include fstream header file and define the file stream object. Okay, so first, include iostream pa din, of course. And then, include. So let us include header file, which is the OffStream. Ayan. No, OffStream. And then followed by using namespace std. Then followed by the int main. Yan. So since ang purpose natin is to read the data from the file na ginawa natin, itong Peter, James, and John, na ma-display natin sa ating program. So let us include, no, and so let us define a file stream object. So since ang purpose natin is to read data from a file, so ang gagamitin natin na data type is the ifstream, and anong name natin for our object. For example, input file. So this is user defined, so it's up to you kung ano gusto nyo ipangalan. Yan, so we have ifstream input file. The third step is to open the file. Use the open member function, in file, open, inventory.dot, or output file, open, report.text. Out file, open, report.text. So the file name may include drive, path, or info. So kung sa iba man siyang location nakalagay, so pwede nyo isama yung kanyang path info, no, para mahanap agad ng program kung saan siya nakalocate. Okay, so the output file will be created if necessary. If ever na wala naman talaga tayong file na kinreate in the first place, halimbawa walang existing file, but you have to open a file to store data, automatically, no, mag-create ng file. No, mag-create siya na yung mag-create ng file para sa inyo. And if there's an existing output file and then you open it and then in-update natin, so paano mag-update ngayon yung file if there is an existing? So ang gagawin doon, automatically the previous file will be removed or will be erased first. And then, yung updated na file natin, yun yung masisave na. Okay? So, buburahin yung lumang file. And then, ang masisave is yung bagong updated na file. So, ganun tayo mag-update ng file. No? So, yun. The third step is to open the file. So, let's try. How do we open files? So, we have input file, which is the name, no, ng ating ifstream. So, input file dot open. No? And then inside this parenthesis, no, the file name of your file. So yung ginawa natin kanina, ito, so ang file name niya ay friends. Friends.text. So hindi na ako nag-include ng path kasi nakalocate naman sila sa isang folder. No? May program and the file. Nakalocate sila sa isang folder. So ganito. Yan. So nakapag-open na tayo ng file. So the next step is use the file. You can use the output file object now using this to send data to a file. Now just like cout, now we are using this string insertion operator now to send data to display the output. For example, output file, inventory report. Yan. So in file naman, we can use input file object and this operator to copy data from the file variables. So just like in cin, now ginagamit natin to. So this is like a cout, and this is like a cin. So this works like cin as well. Ayan. So close the file. The fifth step, now use the member function in file close or out file close. So in our case, ang pangalan na ang nilagay natin ay input file. So automatically, if we open the file, we have to close it using input file.close parentheses. So let's try again, another example, or the continuation rather. So, input file, friends. So, ano nga ba purpose natin? Bakit natin ito ginawa? So, of course, we have to read data from the file na ginawa natin kanina. So, how do we read data from a file? Ayan. So, we have input file open, then the name of our file. So, the next is, if we want to display the data to our program, of course, kailangan mag-create ng storage. Storage dito sa ating program. So, we have to declare variable string name. So, dito siya nakalagay ngayon. So, lahat ng data na papasok, lahat ng data na i-call natin from that file to our program will be stored in the variable name. Okay? So, let's call input file. Then, using this operator, Now, this works like cin. No? I-store natin yung data to the variable name. And then, paano natin i-display yung laman ng variable name? So, of course, calling the variable name as well. Cin, calling the variable name as well. And line. So, how do we close our program? So, input file, katulad na ginawa natin kanina. So, dot close. Then, return 0. Ayan. So, ganito yung ating magiging code, no, to read the data from a file. So, let's test our program. Peter. Okay. So, wala tayong nilagay na Peter dito sa ating program. But then, on the output, now we have Peter. So, saan nanggaling to? Dito to nanggaling sa text file na ito. Because our first data is Peter. So, paano natin makakall ngayon yung mga susunod na pangalan? Okay? So, let us close this one. So, paano natin i-call? So, let's add another input file, another cin, para ma-call natin yung second data, and it will be stored once again on the variable name. And then, paano natin i-call yung data na yon? Calling the variable name as well. Ayan. So, dapat dalawang data na yung meron tayo doon. Okay, so nag-appear na si Peter and James, no, based from our text file. Then, the last one, add ulit tayo. No, kailangan natin i-call si John. Okay, so Peter, James, and Jen. So, we have 3 data. So, don't wait for the operating system to close files at the program end. Kaya tayo naglagay ng .close. So, writing data to a file. So, kanina, we use OffStream to read the data. So, now, we will be using OffStream to write data to a file. So, you already know how to use this stream insertion operator. So, this works like cout. No? So, kung nagamit na natin siya sa cout, no, in terms to OffStream, so, ganun din siya gagana mamaya. So, it can also be used with OffStream object to write data to a file. Assuming the output file is an OffStream object, the following statement demonstrates using this operator to write a string literal to a file. Yan. So, output file, I love C++ programming. So, let us test writing data to a file. And so, let's create new file and save it. Output file. So, same process. So, ang pinagkaiba lang, tayo mag-write ng data, then i-store natin dun sa file. So, include iostream, include offstream, ganun pa rin, using namespace, and name. Yan. So, instead of using ifstream, we'll be using offstream. Offstream. Then, ang gagamitin nating name is the output file. So, gamitin na natin itong output file. Output file. Yan. So, the next step, now after defining file stream object, so we have to open the file. So, output file dot open. No, pero wala akong ginawang file. No, there is no existing file. Pero naglagay ako ng file name dito. For example, yan. For example, C++.text. Yan. But we use output file and then the stream insertion operator na ginagamit natin for cout. And our goal is to display a text on this file na ang nakalagay ay I love C++ programming. Yan. And then, output file, close. and return 0. So let's add C out here. Yan. Data is written in the file. So that means nandun na yung I love C++ program sa loob ng data natin. Yan. So out file close. So let's test. Output file. Okay. Walang tayo. Out file. Okay, data is written in the file. Pero wala tayong generate na file. So let's see if there is now an existing file that named c++.txt na merong I love C++ programming sa loob. Okay? So meron c++.txt. So dapat mag-appear dito yung nilagay natin na I love C++ programming. Okay. So pumasok yung data natin. So this is how we write data to a file. So dito, sa case na to, pwedeng wala kang existing file, no, kasi siya na mismo yung mag-create, but in reading a data from a file, hindi pwedeng walang existing. So that is their difference.